And let's go.
Hello, welcome to the 3inMidfield podcast, the podcast where three friends who all had dreams to become professional footballers dashed away children when they all discovered food have their say on the Premier League. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, of course. So try to be on your best behavior. Arsenal fans in the building. No promises. No promises. But United fans, I guess you're gonna have to be. You have to be humble this week. You're gonna have to be humble, I'm afraid. We are joined by the other president, Coach Koja. How you doing, sir?
I've been better. I have been better. But my team has. What happened? Oh no, nothing. I just it's been better, isn't it? That's what it's been, man. I don't like these questions you're asking me. So yeah, introduce the next people.
Why your mood is so, I don't know. You seem so down. I don't like seeing you like this, man.
People have down days sometimes, for one reason or another, So we just look. I mean, I ain't got a trim. That's the reason why I'm pissed off right now. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, apart from that, yeah, introduce the other guys, isn't it? Maybe ask Sebs how he's feeling. Me personally, I'm trimless, so I don't know about him still.
I'm trimless as well. So I ain't happy because of that. And you know why I ain't happy? Because we're in lockdown and my barber I don't think is working, so man are gonna be scruffy for the next month. So yeah, I ain't happy because of that. I ain't got time like deluded gooners to go and get a trim. So yeah, that's why I ain't happy.
It's called being proactive, man. With the lockdown on Thursday, maybe if certain teams were proactive at their home ground on Sunday, they might have got a result and everything there. But I'm like, it's one of them things there, like. I'm just saying, no malice, but it is what it is. You lot lost in that.
It is what it is. Those were the voices of Semper and Deluded Gooner. How you doing, guys? Apart from we kind of got it. We kind of know. But Semper, how you doing?
No, I'm in good spirits, man. Obviously, the result on Sunday's wavy. I got my health, my family's got their health, and yeah, man, I can't ask for more. So I'm good, man. I'm all good.
Excellent. Semper?
Yeah, man, I'm healthy as well. So just like my man over there, I'm good. You get me? I'm here with you guys on the 3inMidfield podcast, man. It can't get better than that, innit? So boy, yeah, let's do this anyway. I know there's gonna be a lot of smoke coming my way. I'm ready to deflect it anyway. I'm good.
I think we shall save the best till the very end. So we'll start on Friday. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Crystal Palace 0. Was it Ait Nouri scores, and Daniel Pondence, and there was a red card as well. What are your thoughts on that, Coach? One, I think it was a good victory for Wolves. They haven't exactly been in the best of form, but it's a good solid victory at home. But the red card, do you think it was red?
Yeah, that's a red card, man. He's gone and taken his ankle completely. He's red card all day long. There's no question about it for me. So yeah, straight red. See you later. I'll go. And yeah, Wolves were very comfortable. I think, in my opinion, the only time I can think of Palace doing something low was when Batshuayi's goal was offside, wasn't it? But apart from that, easy. Neto did his thing as well. Good cross for Pondence. Ait Nouri, good finish in his first game. Jimenez was quiet, but didn't need to be active in this game. So yeah, easy victory. And Roy Hodgson being Roy Hodgson, Palace being Palace.
Ouch. We're gonna go form, to be honest. That's kind of harsh. I think that's kind of
harsh. They smoked my team 3-1. Everyone that smoked my team so far this season is getting a bit of smoke. That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
We keep mentioning it. So Batshuayi's goal was offside. There was also an incident, I think it was Zaha, who was fouled in the box. So are you getting tired of VAR not picking up these incidents, or is it just by the by nowadays?
Yeah, I think it's by the by. The problem is that we've got, referees making these decisions behind the scenes as well. And we all know that even in the game, they're missing things. And then the problem as well is that they don't want to go against what has happened on the pitch already. So it's just a bit of a shambles. And as I've said before, like as a football fan, it's no point me laughing at that and being like, because it's only going to come back to bite Man United at some point down the line. Do you get what I'm saying? It's something that needs to be sorted out, because for clear and obvious, I understand that clear and obvious is also subjective, but some of these clear and obvious are clear and obvious. Do you get what I mean? And yeah, they need to sort it out, man. But first season I would have given them a bye because it's something new. Whenever there's a transition into something, you're always going to get teething problems. You're going to get mistakes. But coming into this season now, it is something that they really need to sort out. We can't keep making these same silly mistakes that they were making last season. So, but I don't see it getting any better, if I'm honest, because it's still human beings that are looking at things behind the scenes that can still make mistakes. So yeah.
Deluded Wolves, like I said earlier, they just won. They've had a bad start. Is it? Do you think it's down to them getting rid of a player like Diego Jota, or is it just they've been in the league for so long now that everybody's just catching on to what they're trying to do?
I mean, in relation to Wolves, it could be a bit of that. A player like Jota was pivotal for them. He's even hitting the ground running at Liverpool faster than I expected. So he's a good player. It's going to knock any team. That being said, I could be wrong, but I'm sure last season Wolves had a bit of a slow start and then it ended positive. So it's down to them to just not feel sorry for themselves, learn from their mistakes and get it going. The beauty of the Premier League is starts in August, it ends in May. All the things that happen between it don't really matter. Things can turn, as we all know here, a week is a long time in football, let alone a couple of months. So they just need to get back on. And it all depends what's happening in training. If they're still listening to the coach and doing the right things and they're unlucky, then the law of the land suggests they'll get back on track. But from what I've seen, I think Wolves will have a season. I won't go as far as to say a season to remember because I don't know, but I think they're on track to have a positive one and keep gaining credibility.
Yeah, they're not doing too badly, They're sitting in 6th, 13th.
Yeah, they ain't done too bad.
Yeah, they're doing all right. Where you would expect them to be around about now, I would have thought, to be honest.
Is that down to? I mean, it's been a rocky start for everybody, though. That's my question. There's a whole bunch of teams that we expect to be, I don't know, 5th, 6th, 4th, but they're sitting in 18th. Is it?
Who's that?
17th?
19th? Who's he talking about? I don't know.
Can't be a team that won on Sunday.
It's not my team.
I don't know.
Hey, my team, not the boy.
Ain't my team either, boy.
Hey, my team, boy. Hey, I said 18th, boy.
Even my team as well. He started going low. He started going lower.
Listen, if it was a relegation battle thing, do you think we'll be in this podcast right now, bro?
Hey, man, a couple weeks, you never know if you might keep doing things.
Boy, then you gotta find another guest. You know what I'm saying? Because boy, it ain't gonna be me.
We move to Saturday. Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 1. Good win for Manchester City. Kyle Walker, I think, with one of his, he usually likes to hit from distance. He has a nice clean shot. Would you say that Kyle Walker is? Because I can't remember who it was now, but I think it was somebody on TalkSport. They were saying that Kyle Walker doesn't get the flowers that he deserves. That he's probably one of the best defenders in the Premier League. Is that true?
I'm still not sure about that. I think that obviously in this era of recovery defending, the fact that he's so quick kind of helps him. You know what I'm saying? You knew I was going with that, innit? You knew I was going with that. But it's true though. It's true when in this era, defending is not so much, unless you purposely be structured. If you're going to play high lines, you need to be quicker to get close to the forwards that are going to go past your defense. So. That kind of helps him quite well. I think also the fact that he's been able to play centre back for City a couple of times has helped him improve his defensive side of the game. But does he get the flowers he deserves? I would say he does. I don't think anyone's been so critical to the point where they said that he's been a poor player or he's been average. We know he's been good. We know he's been very good. For Tottenham, he was good. For City, he's been good. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's been looked at like he's. I need like a good example, maybe like a Bellerin, for example. And Bellerin's not bad.
Talking to Wan-Bissaka after Sunday. Don't talk of Bellerin's name.
Listen. I'm just trying to make a point, man. Why are you doing this, man?
You Bellerin thing. Nah, on a serious note, I get where you're going, man. Carry on, man.
Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, no, that's. I think that's what it is. So no, he's been good. He's been good. So I think it's the flowers he deserves. I just think the nature of the game today kind of helps him a bit more. But that's fine. You've got the quality to do it, so use it well.
Sheffield. So I think is this one of maybe I'm not certain, but it's a clean sheet for City. It's a clean sheet for City away as well. Is that something? Is that a positive that will take that will take them forward?
Oh yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't read too much into this result, to be honest, because Sheffield United aren't great, and Jesus, the comments are coming in, boy. Yeah, yeah. I don't think Sheffield United are great. I thought that they would fall off as they did last season. So I think in that type of fixture, Man City should really be keeping a clean sheet. So yeah, I wouldn't really pay too much attention to that. Obviously, the crunch ones coming at the weekend when they play Liverpool. That's going to be when we really see where this Man City are. But you know, at the moment, you got Laporte's back, Diaz is there. You know, those looks like a strong partnership. So they may well be able to improve going forward. You know what I mean? But this particular result, I wouldn't pay too much attention to.
City, obviously, they're going to be up. They're going to be contenders. I guess what is going on at City, Deluded? Is it Pep's been there for far too long now and it's just getting a bit stale, or can you see him, I don't know, regain the form that obviously won him 2 Premier League titles?
Do you know what? It's a difficult one. I think in relation to where City find themselves, I think we've got to remember City have probably only fallen off by their own standards. Like the way they got blown out of the league by Liverpool last year, it's an L. The points they went off, but they've fallen off by their own standards. It's a bit of everything, you know. Premier League people, I wouldn't go as far as to say everyone's got money, which they do, but it's not a City thing. Everybody seems to do all right. I think people, I don't think there's ever been respect for teams like that in the league of late, but I think really of late, the beauty of the Premier League is that nobody really cares. You can have all of these stars. The game is run on paper. There's 22, I mean, on the field, there's 22 players chasing the ball. And I think City have kind of had to understand that people don't care how much money you've got, what teams you've played for, etc. And they've been aggressive. I'm a big fan of Pep Guardiola. He's got a lot of question marks, the money he's spent, etc., etc. You know, he needs to do what he needs to do in the league to gain credibility again, and he needs to do what he needs to do in the Champions League. But I do think he can get this team back. I don't think it will be running away with it, sort of thing like he did previously, but he kind of has to. You'd think right now his credibility, again, and this is a man who's won the Champions League and done what he's done, but his credibility within reasons and considering that is at all-time low. The way I think he cost their team the Champions League or advancing last year. He overcomplicated things against Lyon. That's been a theme of him in the Champions League ever since he's left Barcelona. At some way, you know, they lost the league last season by 20 odd points. That's got to be explained. So I would say he's potentially lost his mojo a bit. Needs to reinvent himself. Needs to really search deep. There's always been that sort of thing with every manager. It's happened to Wenger, happened to Sir Alex Ferguson at a point. You have to reinvent yourself. He's probably questioned himself. Does he even know football anymore? So I think he needs to, man. I think they need to reinvent themselves, which they have been doing. And I share what you guys have been saying earlier, that nobody's kind of been running away with the league. And I think City haven't looked 100% convincing. United definitely haven't. Arsenal definitely haven't. So like you guys said, you know, Sunday or Saturday, whenever them big boys are playing, it's going to be a massive test, especially because Liverpool have got some injuries. It's not a full strength Liverpool side.
Can I ask you a question, Deluded Gooner, regarding what you just said there, regarding reinventing yourself? Like, as you said, Fergie had to do it to a point. Wenger needed to do it, didn't quite do it. But do you see with Pep, because he's been at City for a while now, innit? But I'm thinking, has he been there too long? Has he got the fight now to want to reinvent himself at City?
I can't lie. I think I share that to a degree, man. I think for me, if I put myself in Pep's shoes, forget City for a sec. I'm Pep Guardiola, and I'm seeing you have to deal with criticisms. Everyone's dealt with it, but like I said, your reps are all time low. Man are questioning it. Like we've seen, he's built size. Man are questioning all of these things. So I would just want to do it personally for my ego, just to stick middle fingers up. But I do share a bit of what you're saying, and I do actually believe that, and that probably been there too long. As great as Pep is, some man probably have heard the same thing over and over again. He's a great coach, but he doesn't necessarily have the best of personal relations with players. And it is a bit stale. Like you said, I don't think he's going to reinvent himself because he's never really needed to when you look at where he's managed. Barcelona is Barcelona. He did his thing with Barca. We all saw that. Munich, he bettered them in terms of the league. He failed to reinvent himself and the team to win the Champions League. And we saw someone win it at the champs before and obviously after. And now you're seeing it at City. I don't think he is. When you look at someone like Klopp hasn't had the best team. Fair enough, people look at Liverpool with rose tints and act like it's Carlisle. They have had cash, but they've reinvented that Van Dijk. Well, bringing in Van Dijk. You look at City. What they had that Angelino guy at fullback. They can afford to just get rid of, man. So I just think he's going to keep throwing money at it, to be fair with you. And I don't know if he's got the hunger, man. I genuinely think this is his last season, and I'm a Pep fan, innit? So, and to be fair, he's better seeing City win it is better than you lot and Liverpool. So I don't mind if City win it, really and truly. But I can't see him reinventing himself. Apologies, my guy. I really can't. So I share what he said, man. I can't see it.
I agree with you, man.
Do you think, any of you, that he will ever win the Champions League again?
No, because
I see not yes, so, but you never know, really.
I'm saying no, because I agree with what the dude just said. I think what it is with Pep right now in Champions League is there's a hurdle that he's struggling to cross over because of that that refusal. I think it's a refusal to reinvent himself, try and do something different. I go back to when they won the league. Was it 98 points that season when City were smacked up by Liverpool home and away in the Champions League, and also Liverpool did beat them. That were the first team to beat them that season when they lost at Anfield, and in the Tottenham game and at Bayern Munich getting smacked up by both Barcelona and Real Madrid. Like, there's just something that he doesn't want to change. It's always the style remains the same in Europe and everything. And I always scream, sometimes you need a plan B. Like, City have struggled with their strikers' fitness for a while, for example. So if you lose Aguero and you lose Gabriel Jesus, yes, now Ferran Torres are doing a makeshift centre striker, or maybe it'll be Sterling, but then they're not pure strikers. So what are you going to do to change up a little bit just to give your team a bit more of that edge going forward to see if you can get a lot more goals when you haven't got a regular striker up front. But I will say this also: if this Laporte and Diaz partnership becomes a thing that stays strong for the next couple of years, like it continues to improve and gets better, it's starting really well right now, then some things could change. That's something that he needs to improve on, that defensive line. He's got two good centre backs together now. See if Laporte stays fit.
I to cut you off, Kojo, but just as you said that, it's all coming back to me. Like, don't get it twisted. Injuries can derail anyone's season. We've all seen that. But for me, for Pep Guardiola, for his season to kind of derail last season with Laporte being injured, I sympathise with him. But that's not an excuse for 20-odd points. So I think I genuinely think he overcomplicates things, man. Like, he did it as well.
He had a chance. Why didn't he strengthen in the summer? Because it was something that I actually discussed early on my show when we were doing it in pre-season, is like, why have you not gone strengthen? Because company left, and then you didn't say. It's like sometimes I do feel that Pep is a bit arrogant in the sense of what he do, because that should have been a position that they should have really filled. Obviously, you can't plan for Laporte to then go and be out for the majority of the season, but still, even with Laporte playing, I still feel that they would have struggled because they lost company and they didn't replace him.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks.
We move on to Burnley 0, Chelsea 3. I always love when Sean Dyche loses. Hakim Ziyech scored. Kurt Zuma also got the score sheet with it's like a bullet header, and then Timo Werner rounded up all the 3 points with a nice tidy finish. Hakim Ziyech, is he the game changer? Is he the guy that's going to, get Chelsea in that title challenge position?
From what I've seen, I don't know yet. From what I've seen so far, I see a baller. I see someone that's adjusted. He looked good against Burnley. But that, to me, what you're asking is you need to see next level stuff, and that's only going to happen through literally him playing games. He had some injuries that disrupted his start to his Chelsea career, but it's literally a wait and see. If he ups it and he plays to a consistent level, then you can have that debate. But from what I've seen so far, just looks like a very technical footballer who's adjusted well and can do his part to enable Chelsea to have some sort of decent season if they show consistency. But as for next level stuff, sort of Mahrez with carrying Leicester, it's down to him to display that sort of level of playing, really.
Coach?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think for them to become title challengers or propel themselves to the next level, it's all about the defensive part rather than the going forward part, because they've got enough going forward. You sign Havertz, you sign Ziyech in the January transfer window to come this summer. Werner's there. You still got Mason Mount, who's starting to find a bit of form now. Tammy Abraham is still an option up front. we can go on and on and on. You know, I wouldn't look at this game as a side of though. Burnley's not the same place it used to be. After it's difficult and you know you need to go there and fight and all that. Chelsea have been capable of going to Burnley and beating them. That's not a problem. And Burnley are toothless going forward. They attack in different ways. So, for example, that's why Kante was so comfortable in defensive midfield because he had a great game, but he wasn't really challenged either, for being honest. But that defensive partnership needs to be key. Look at Zuma's found some form. He's starting to get some goals going forward as well. Thiago Silva slowly starting to settle in. They signed someone they wanted to be a leader there. Chilwell's play started well, and they can change between Wan-Bissaka, I forget that guy, Reece James or Aspilicueta for right back. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bit of an option there. It's good. So they have to continue that. Mendy started well as well. So it's more to do with what they can do at the back. Ziyech's a good player though. He's a brilliant player to watch. Technically excellent. Movement's good as well. So the more he plays with all these players, they will gel, they will score goals. But what happens behind them is also very key. But this is good. I think this is 5 clean sheets in a row now. It's a big thing for Chelsea. A Chelsea team that usually in the past you wouldn't be talking about them having to do clean sheets because it was quite normal for them. So if they continue along that kind of pathway, then eventually, if they are near the top, December, January, you can look at them and say, yeah, you know what? I think they can challenge. And Dan just came in here and came to palm me off. I'm not depressed, bro. You ain't got to do that to me. All right, cool. Let's go.
I think everybody remembers when Jimmy Floyd and Patrice Evra went toe to toe, and was it Monday? Was it Monday Night Football? No, it was Monday Night Football. It was a guy toe to toe, and I think it was him that said that result against Manchester United would look good if it propels them to go on to not concede or to have defensive displays like they did against Burnley, like they did against Krasnodar. Would you agree with Jimmy Floyd when he said that, or is it just
Krasnodar?
It's a 0-0. That's no. They didn't concede.
Let's be real, man. Nah. We can't. Let's be real. Let's be real. We can't be using that one there, man. Even Ziyech
I'm using it because it came directly after the Man United result.
That one there is not a real threat. Like you should we have to be real, man. That one there, they could use probably their third choice players and should be getting a comfortable result. That result there, they made it harder than it needed to be. They were quite sluggish. So fair enough. Clean sheet's a clean sheet. Every time you keep one, you can buy one. You would always take it, but that one's dead. The United thing, I guess, at the end of the day, you need to remember United, Old Trafford is a difficult ground, regardless of where the team is, it's a hard game. Both teams, I'm sure, would have taken a point prior, so a point and 0-0 isn't the worst thing. I think when you look deeper into it, United were there for the taking sort of thing. And I'm not one to talk about money. I'm one that can understand people need to gel and stuff. But I could be wrong. But they had no shots on target or one. And, Arsenal didn't actually have the most the shots on target when we won on Sunday. But I felt, you got to plug it where you can. You got to plug it. You got to plug it. I'm just waiting for Cahill to say Arsenal versus United. All these other irrelevant games are being thrown up. But no, man, I still think they're over Chelsea, man. And it's all that Coach said defensively.
Was Burnley impressive? Because, they haven't exactly had the best season this year, but they are a difficult team, 1, to break down, and 2, to keep clean sheet against at home.
It's a fantastic result for that in that purpose. But as you said, the crucial thing is, and it's not on Chelsea's fault, but it's not the same. It's not the same Burnley. It's like Arsenal. We beat Sheffield United. Realistically, it's not the same Sheffield United. As you lot were saying earlier, they was on a losing form at the end of last season. It's kind of continued. Potentially, ironically, like Sean Dyche, Chris Wilder, if it wasn't them and what they've done being at the team and Yorkshire men and whatnot, probably be trending on thin ice, and along with Oli, probably managers you think that are going to be moved on or need to be moved on. So it's a good result, but and like I said, you can't bash Chelsea for it. But if it was the Burnley of a couple of years ago, or like for Arsenal, the Sheffield of last season, it can probably gas it up a bit more. But it's just business as usual. To a degree, you have to just win these games if you want top 4 or beyond, or whatever you want to do with your season. So it's business, especially when they're not at full strength and they're going through their own problems, as we've all seen when they played.
That's fair. We move on to Liverpool 2, West Ham 1. Shaky start for Liverpool as Fornals sneaked in a nice goal shot in the 10th minute. Then Mohamed Salah with a contentious penalty made it 1-1, and then Diego Jota had 2 attempts. One was ruled off a foul on Fabianski, and the second one he was a really nice. I think that nice build up into that goal. But start with obviously the elephant in the room. The penalty one, was it a penalty?
You lot.
It's just this cheap, you know.
I can't lie. It is a pen, but it's moving mad. Like they're moving mad. It's like what you lot were saying earlier. This VAR thing, I don't understand it, man, because it's changing. The same incidents in one game isn't a penalty for one reason, and then literally the same incidents in the next game, they're telling me the ball, someone's hand moved. I don't get it. It's like, fair enough, I'm a football man. I don't deal with finances and VAR, but I thought this thing would be there when people obviously make errors. So I can't understand it. It is a pen by the letter of the book, and the refs are gonna be in the firing line because they're just doing what they're told. But it's a soft pen, and there's no point defenders even defending in the box now. I can't even cap, man, because you can't do anything really and truly.
Is it one of those things though, where it's like it's a cliche now. If you don't go down, you don't get it. And if you do stay up, then people are complaining, why didn't you go down? So is it based on that, or is it?
I can't mock Salah. I can't mock Salah. Same way that I feel sorry for the ref. I feel sorry for West Ham. It's their game, I don't advocate diving, but I see Kane do it. I see Son do it. I see Salah do it. They're gonna do it in it, and they know the refs are always gonna favour these attacking players in these situations. It doesn't seem that VAR is helping defenders. It's not giving them any confidence. I actually feel it's. I used to be on this Brexit thing, like VAR is ruining our game. You can't bring it, all of this sort of stuff. And slowly over time, I've been on the VAR thing, but now it's the way we use it in England. I ain't got no case studies, but when I'm watching Spain and these other clubs, other countries, it seems to be working smoother than this. So I don't get what we're doing. Like, I don't understand it personally.
And you know what we should start to do as well, because we see was it Kane dive? Even in the Leeds game yesterday, we see, I can't remember who it was it Ailing? I can't remember which player.
Yeah.
Like, really and truly, VAR should be watching that and pull man up and say, ref, we got a diver over here, go and give man a card. Now,
when you stop that,
is that will start to put a bit of doubt in man's minds, because now already there's a doubting with the handball thing. All of a sudden now as well, when you do something off the ball, you're already thinking in the back of your head, boy, you know what? VAR may pick this up. So I think that it won't do it all of the time, because diving is quite instinctive, them divers, in it, when they do it. But it can still have a bit in the back of their mind to think, let me not do this. We may get a card.
It's a great point. Facts. Yeah. They actually should look at that, but they're not. Are they even trying to use VAR for what we think it could be used for? Because, like you said at the start, it's just a bag of. It's like us. It's like we're watching football. The incident comes and we're talking. One man is saying this, the next man is saying that. Like, how do they need to show fans how they actually reach the conclusions? And I'm not talking getting a ref in on BT at halftime and showing us clips of. Show us the thought process behind it, because the thing where they twang it as well, all these angles start making things look mad to the fans. They need to explain it properly, man.
Yeah, because I see one, I can't remember what country it was in, but there was this clip of VAR working. It must have been Australia or something. And you can actually hear the conversation.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And then you can hear the logic behind, go and look at it. And then, as you're saying, as a fan, you can then start to say, okay, this is the logic that they're kind of working with. It may not still end up with the right result, but then as a fan, we can then maybe think to ourselves, all right, I see what you're kind of working with. I don't agree, but I can see the logic that you was going with.
Yeah, that's all we want, because it's like you said earlier, you're just hoping as a fan now, all right, cool, I got injustice in this game, over this season, it's going to balance it out. And I think that as an Arsenal fan, but realistically, that isn't going to happen. What we also forget as well, refs are humans. They have unconscious biases. A lot of people forget refs are fans of football. So if they think someone like Zaha is a diver, he's clearly been fouled, they're not going to mark it up and pull it apart. Because sometimes, have we not seen, and again, no examples, but VAR could have acted, but for some reason we're playing on and it's not a thing, and it's nothing more than just a talking point.
I remember last season against Chelsea when he kicked out at man. He didn't get.
Yeah. See what I'm talking about? Like, this is what I'm talking. So what's the point of it? Like, this is how it's the implementation. Like I said, I used to be anti-VAR. Now it's just how we use it in this country. I can't even cap.
Nathaniel Phillips had a great game against West Ham. Is he the second coming like everybody would like to or is he really talented? Was it such a good game?
You know, he's talented, and it was a good good start for him. There's obviously gonna be a lot of pressure on all their centre backs now because Van Dijk's not there. So everyone's gonna look at Gomez when Matip's fit, Matip, and so on and so forth. So, as for our first Premier League game where you come up against, I think Hala would give him an easier game than Mikel Antonio in terms of how aggressive they are. But regardless, at the end of the day, it was a good start. I think he played very well. He eventually grew into the game bit by bit, and you could see that he was starting to play a lot more better, a bit more comfortable, a lot more confident. But this is the problem. The big test is next week. So, or this weekend now that it's a Tuesday. So, let's see what he does. I don't know if they're gonna have any centre backs fit for that game when it comes back. I don't know if he's gonna be dropped or not. But if he does start, it's a big test, and that's unfortunate for him because you know how the football world is. If he has a bad game against City, they're gonna slaughter him. You know what I mean?
He's playing for Liverpool, so he may get protected. You never know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, so no, but good game for him. Good game for him, and honestly, because I like to see young players shine, so hopefully it can continue for him. But yeah, good game, good W.
We move to Sunday. Aston Villa 3, Southampton 4. James Ward-Prowse with a free kick masterclass, 2 free kicks, 2 very, very nice goals. Vestergaard also got into the score sheet. Danny Ings as well with a blinding shot from outside the box.
Sweet.
Your favorite defender, Tyrone Mings, got the score sheet, Michael. Ollie Watkins with a penalty, and Jack Grealish with a nice shot as well. Made it 3-4. James Ward-Prowse, is he one of the best free kick specialists on the planet right now?
Specific Premier League, I mean, specifically free kick specialist, he's up there. Like, I wouldn't say he's the best, but just the art of taking a free kick, I have to give it to him, man. Like, he's definitely one of the best in Premier. He has a debate to be the best. Like, if I sat down and thought, I wouldn't say him, but specific to that art, anyone, you can't see what he's doing. Like, who's had a better birthday than that? Your team's got 3 points. You've overtaken Letitia in a stat. You've knocked in 2 free kicks. Like, the second one for me is the better one, not to the first, because he's got it up and down real quick. And he's so close to the goal. That's a man that's been practicing that for hours and years. So, yeah, man, you got to respect the craft. He's definitely up there for that art alone.
Yeah, I think in the Premier League, he's probably is the best. I'm trying to think maybe a Trent Alexander could rival him. I'm trying to think anybody else. But like when Ward-Prowse steps on that ball, you kind of know, boy, he's gonna test the goalkeeper, and that's why I think he could probably be the best, because he knocks them in regularly. Like, I think that Mihajlovic for Crystal Palace, he must have got a good one last year, or a couple good ones. But Ward-Prowse is doing it consistently. Even against United, was it last season before, he knocked in a nice one. Like, he just does it regularly. So, yeah, man, I think he's definitely bad at that. And as an overall footballer as well, I rate him, man. I think he's a tidy baller still.
Yeah, our boy Darren calls him Baby Beckham, innit? In the sense that he does take free kicks so damn well. But he's been doing that for years, and I feel like the question is always about where can he go to? Is he a player that goes to the next level? I feel like he is quite a limited player, but he's good at 2 things: passing and set pieces, and that's enough for Southampton. Because when they win set pieces, they've got enough in him to cause some sort of trouble, whether it'll be for assisting purposes or for shooting purposes. He's always a danger. So yeah, long may it continue. I didn't even know he ever took Matt Letitia, so that's even a big shout for him as well. He's creating quite the legacy at Southampton. He's a favourite. He's captain. So yeah, much respect to Ward-Prowse, man. And
is he? Does anyone know?
I think he's now 26, 27, maybe.
Back in the days, he turned 26 when they played. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. You said it was his birthday, innit? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So good thing.
Ralph Hasenhüttl, is it time to give him his flowers for an amazing job at what he's done for Southampton?
All right, like I guess I wouldn't say he deserves like the league to be shouting about it, but he definitely, I guess you can hail up what he's done. This was a team that I can't remember the cricket score they got last year. They got drummed. What was it? 9-1. Yeah. Taking them back. They've had a good start to the league. There's a bit more togetherness. He's made that. A lot of people weren't, myself included, we weren't trying to watch this Danny Ings signing when he went to Liverpool. People were saying they kind of got bumped by Liverpool. Now you can say, that's 20 million or whatever well spent. So I think think everyone praises his thing. He's doing all right. But, you know, if he wants more praise, we need to, the same way we're talking about Leicester, Wolves, and these similar teams, we need to talk about Southampton. It's like, forgive me if I'm wrong, when we think of Southampton, you just think of stability, staying in the league, maybe hoping for a top 10 finish, but you don't get the impression that that's like live or die like the other clubs. So if he wants more sort of credit, he's got to do them sort of things. But I think he's doing a good job. And I think everyone else believes that. So, yeah, man.
Deluded, what do you think of this comment that he's good enough for top 6?
I mean, we have to see. Like, it's quite reactionary. I don't want to sound like I'm belittling him because he didn't just pop up out of nowhere. But again, like, I need to see some real work from Donny. Really, like, he's started well, but I want Southampton to be feared. Like, Southampton give us nightmares. So I don't like going to St Mary's away, but like I said, I want to see what I'm saying about Wolves in Leicester. I want that to be a case for Southampton before I start getting on the bandwagon like that. Personally.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's move over to Newcastle 2, Everton 1. Another week, another defeat for Everton. It was looking so good at the very beginning. They had a nice rich reign of form, but now it's 2 L's on the bounce. Callum Wilson scored twice, a penalty and a nice attack from at the back post. That's got was a volley at the back post. He scored it, and then Calvert-Lewin, who hadn't scored since last week, gets on the score sheet again in the 91st minute. Is it one of those things where Everton they might have hit the glass ceiling, even though it's still a bit too early to say that? I personally believe, but have they hit?
It's all about the squad, and I mentioned it before. It's all well and good having your James Rodriguez and Richarlisons and stuff, but as soon as you start to get a few injuries to that team, we're going to see what's good. You know, I had man come up on my show talking about Sigurdsson, and that's a reason why, you know, talking about squad depth. And I was just like, come on, you get what I'm saying? So, like,
he's a decent player. He's a decent player. That's I'm going to get you back when it comes to United. Don't worry about that.
Sigurdsson don't even get. He don't make the team. Like, Sigurdsson, anything like.
There's too much of a drop off when that Donny comes in, man.
Yeah, so like that's what Everton's problem is going to be this season. Now, obviously, I heard there's talk Isco comes in January. We'll see what happens with that. But overall, like, they've got a striker in Calvert-Lewin who we can see now can score goals. I doubt it. I ain't gonna lie. He can score goals. He can score all sorts of goals. His overall play is a lot better than what I gave him credit for before. You know, his hold-up play, the movement, and everything like that. But you know, as soon as they get some injuries, and that's where they're going to struggle. And I think, you know, Newcastle were not a great side, or they're not great in the way that they play. You know what I'm saying? They're so ultra defensive. It's just crazy. And Everton couldn't do nothing to break them down in that game. Like, they didn't create nothing. So I do think that's the worry for Everton, man. I really do. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, go on, Cole, John. I'm not gonna cut you.
Sorry, bro. I think that loss of James and Richarlison, like, you go from having those two, and it's a significant drop to go from those two to start in. I mean, James to what's his name, Gylfi Sigurdsson. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, exactly. And they had to change formation as well. Richarlison's not there, so it was gone from a 4-3-3 to sort of like a 4-3-2-1, sort of very narrow formation. It just doesn't work, and they lost their balance immediately. Fabian Delph comes back straight into midfield with Alan and Doucouré. You keep them two, but then Gomez and Sigurdsson ahead. Like, it's just the levels are not the same, you know. So that's where the problem is. So what? And also Jojo Kenny starting ahead of Seamus Coleman. I think Coleman's injured at the moment, so that's another big loss as well. So what I think Ancelotti's next step has to be for Everton is now, like you guys are alluding to, improving that depth. Because if you lose a player, of course, any team will struggle if they lose a key player. But you need to bring in a player that's good enough to make you not feel so much of a loss when you lose that player, or not make you lose your balance. Right now, you've gone from having a certified 11 to you lose 2 players and your formation completely changes. The roles change. You know, the only positive to come out of this game is that Calvert-Lewin got another goal. You know, so yeah,
that's literally the thing, and that's what I mean. Not just for Everton, it goes for Everton, because I've heard Everton top 4, Spurs winning league, this, that, and the third. This is what fans need to calm down and let the league play out before you draw conclusions and run to things, because we've been so desperate for a tagline. And now you see it. The same people that were gassing up Everton are now saying, boy, you know, they're not looking as good, this and that. They go on the winning side, they're back saying the same thing. We just need to let things play out, man. Real talk.
DELUDED GOONER, yeah, hear this. I did a show when one of my brethrens were on there, and me and him, he bet me £100 that Everton are going to finish top 4.
So he's £100 gone. Like, unless a miracle happens.
Big corner as well, just because I see what you said in the comments, and yeah, I thought to myself, this is an easy £100. That's what I was thinking in my head. But he was convinced that Everton are going to finish top 4. I'm just like, yeah, James Rodriguez is getting to people's head. I think that's what it was. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And even like Leicester have started the season off greatly like they did last year, but like where did they end up? Now it was still a good season for them, but you lot and Chelsea shagged the place because they messed up. So again, it's about where you finish and how you maintain it. By all means, Everton get top 4, gas up the thing, but too many conclusions are being drawn when there ain't been too many big games that they've gone into. Fair enough, I think there was a Merseyside derby and they did all right. That was definitely the best Merseyside derby I've seen of late, but they're still question marks. That's it. 38 Premier League games. I'm not too sure on if they beat Spurs, to be fair.
They did 1-0.
For that one. Yeah, to be fair, there's tests, but you know, you've got to play all these teams again. There's 38 Premier League games. And I believe in Carlo Ancelotti. I just look at some of these players, like you man are saying, couple injuries, suspensions, loss of form. They're a bit mad. Like we can talk. It looks good. It looks like a FIFA thing when they've got their strongest lineup. But you know, you take Allen out of midfield, you take Takore. As you man are saying, you're back to Sigurdsson and just being free kick merchants and whatnot. It's dead. It's dead. It's people like Michael Keane. They're gonna reveal their form eventually. Like they're gonna show their true level. There's some man in that team that are not levels, but you know, I live to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong about Everton, but that's what I think's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, Dan seems to think that Everton finish inside the top 7.
Yeah, I can believe that, man. Yeah. I can believe that still. Especially you would imagine that the traditional top 6 will be there and thereabouts, and then you got to then include Wolves in there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like for Everton to finish inside the top 7, I still think it's a tough ask, and that's why I was having this conversation with man and. The top 4, I can't see it, boy.
It's mad. Like you got to focus on a consistent top 6, top 5 finish, and then speak for the top 4. Like I get it. New transfers can change everything. You know, as an Arsenal fan, I was frustrated to a degree seeing Everton sign Freeman and play them straight away. But it's too many conclusions are just drawn by fans, and I get it. But people can't let the excitement and the euphoria, and that's something that harms Premier League fans. We always look at what a next team has got, who a next team is bringing in, and always about money and new players. We don't really value coaching and improving and these sort of things. And we like to learn the hard way. Like all these as you said, all these conclusions are drawn on Everton until something else happens, and then these same people swear blind and never said these things about Everton. It's mad. Like it's mad.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say what I said when they were going on their winning streak, but it is what it is. We move on to Tottenham.
Yeah. You keep quiet. You keep quiet. Yeah. DELUDED GOONER, he's one of the fans that you've been talking about.
You're one of them man there.
Hey, I've to combat a few points. I think in Carlo Ancelotti they have well, he's a legend of the game, so it all depends on the season that he can have. So
like we've been down this with the fact of a manager's 30. Man used to say that about Wenger. Everywhere Jose goes, man say that about Jose. Carlos said it's the players, man. There's only so much Carlo can tell them, man. There, you know, that was the first time Carlo lost to Newcastle, I believe, statistically. So it's down to them, man. They're letting him down. Like they will let him down. I hope to be wrong because Carlo's my guy, but bro, you got to see the light. It's long for Everton, man. Like it's long.
Fair enough. Tottenham 2, Brighton 1. Harry Kane scored a penalty. Tariq Lamptey with an equalizer. It was a nice finish from the right back. There's a foul in the build-up though, which I think VR once again just didn't pick up. And then Gareth Bale scored his first goal back at Spurs since he left. Not really much to say on the game. It was kind of you expected Spurs to win this one, no?
Yeah, they need to bounce back after losing to Royal Antwerp. For anyone that doesn't know, Royal Antwerp used to be our feeder club. So they had man like Chris Eagles and them man there. So shout out Spurs. Yeah. Anyway, Harry Kane, obviously, people forget onto him because he did dive, not for the penalty, for another one that he tried to get earlier, later on in the game.
Draw them all out, please.
Yeah, as this Son as well. Son's dive was even I don't even know what the hell he was trying to do over there as well. It reminds me of the gap wasn't as big, but remember when Moore against Pedersen for some reason just decided to drop to the floor against Arsenal.
Yeah,
and he turned around looking for something, and you're just like, I was looking like, bro, what do you think was gonna happen here?
Yeah.
Like just a joke thing. The penalty itself, I think, was a penalty because you don't jump into someone's back like that, knee first. Like that's just stupid. And then
although it looked like, I'm not even backing it, I agree with you, but sometimes I do feel like them situations there is a little bit 50-50 where the defender, I mean, like Harry Kane is just backing in, he knows what he's doing, whereas Lallana's like literally trying to let me try and head the ball, not seeing what my man's planning, and then it's just boom, you get me? I agree with what you're saying.
He went into like a rhino, man. That was crazy. That was a thing to do. He just went. That's a free kick outside the box. If he's inside, it's a penalty.
Yeah, I'm not thinking. I just have sympathy for those type of.
I get you.
You're right. No, I sympathize if it's one of those ones where the players both jump in the air and then, or if one jumps but there's no legs up in the air, they're genuinely just trying to get the ball and they're trying to kind of go over the player. I sympathize with those ones, but the way he jumped and his leg was up in the air, I said, no, yes, all day a penalty. But then with VAR again, which we're going to refer to the Brighton goal, Højbjerg is taking the hell out. And the joke thing about it is referee actually went to the camera himself and still determined that wasn't a foul. It's truly baffling. This is what DELUDED GOONER was talking about, though. It's how we use it. You know what I mean? Because now there's no question here. You've gone yourself to go and see it, and you've seen it's a foul, but you deemed it not to be a foul. What needed to happen for you to think that it needs to be a foul? He's taking the guy out. Simple as that. But
he didn't want to go back on his decision. That's all it was.
But bro,
a little slight touch on the ball, so that's what he will use now to justify it. I don't agree at all. He should have said no, free kick, brought it back. But I think he didn't want to go back on the decision he made, and then he will use that slight touch that you could see as a justification, and it's a really bad decision, man.
That's what VAR is there for, bro. And I'm not disagreeing with you because you're actually right, but it's just one of the ones where in your job where it's difficult, you will sometimes miss these things. Exactly. But that's what the evidence is there for. So if you've seen that you've made the wrong decision, there is no shame at this point saying, yo, sorry, that is actually a foul. Let's call it back, bring a free kick. You decided to actually stand by your shameful decision anyway. So either way, you're a disgrace. You know what I mean? And then obviously Bell's goal. Bell's goal is that's a nice, lovely header. Reguilon is doing everything that I wish certain thick left backs would do for me, but you know, they would never do that. So shout out Reguilon for that. I know we're gonna get there, innit? And I'm gonna say why I'm gonna shout out Reguilon especially for this assist, because I'm very happy with this assist, and I'll get onto it when we get to the United game and that thick left back. But good header by Bell, free header, so you have to get down target. Did what you need to do. Comeback goal finally for him, so maybe he'll find some bit of form, stay fit, and maybe Tottenham will do a bit better this season than they did last. But yeah, so far so good.
Tottenham championship material deluded.
Listen, let me try to talk nice on Spurs. I think Spurs have been all right this season, but I think like with Everton and things, people have been rushing to draw Spurs with conclusions. I feel Spurs have made a lot of games harder than it needed to be. I think Brighton was harder than it needed to be. I think the Newcastle game, which ironically was highlighted with VAR and Newcastle having that being Newcastle's first shot on target. But if people remember, they didn't kill off the game. We all remember they've been winning 3-0 against West Ham and then drawn. They're making games harder than it needs to be. And it all comes back to Chelsea's problems. And what many teams have is that unique defense is central. Your individuals will win you games and they'll look good in the highlights, but central to your success is defending. I'm not going to lie, I do see Jose or what he's trying to do. There has been elements, but it's a bit like Chelsea's problems is that their attacking men are on crud. You see what Son and Kane are doing. They're up there for, I don't even know what it's called, but goals and assists between the two or whatever it is statistically in the Prem, they're just going to be let down by their defense. And I think, you know, they should have a better season. It all depends. I think Jose can't complain. People get onto Daniel Levy. It might not be the perfect window in terms of players, but they did what they needed to do. They've just brought in a centre half, some Welsh Donny, you know, they've brought in a left back, they've brought in Bell, they've signed a backup striker. So they've got all the tools, but it goes back to what I was saying. It's just too many conclusions are being drawn because there's not too many teams in this Premier League right now that are 100% convincing on all cylinders and that have been probably convincing in 5 of these 7 or so games that have been played. So it's looking like a random season, really.
But that's the thing, though. That's you said defensively that everybody and that side's going to let them down. But name a team in the Premier League that has a defense that won't let them down. I mean, Van Dijk's gone from Liverpool.
Statistically, we've got the best defense.
I knew it.
You know, our thing is different, but serious. No, I just find that logic. Spurs could do a thing, but Spurs are Spurs, man. They'll find a way of messing it up, no matter how bad Arsenal will be. I out on Spurs to fight the thing up, man. Apologies.
See, I think I agree with what you're saying with regards to the defense, but I think in a season like what Cahill was saying, where everybody's struggling defensively, I think it can then be the attack that's then going to go and win somebody the title.
Games though.
I hear that.
All people here know about what is needed to win.
I hear that, but you know what I'm going to add in as well is, whilst I don't, you know, I've not rated Jose for a long time, but it's a new challenge now, isn't it? He might have that proper fire back, and with the players that they do have, the special players like your Kane and your Sons that can win you games. It's not even about a tactic. It's just these special players that can win you a game. I think over a period of time, they may be the difference. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Spurs will be up there, but like what you're saying, who really knows? They could falter again. But I do see Jose's working on the mentality thing more than anything. Do you get what I'm saying? So where they've been weak and soft in the past, I'd expect them to be a lot more ruthless, that we're seeing with all of the constant diving and all of that. He don't care about how he wins, innit? So yeah. I agree still.
Fulham 2, West Brom 0. Fulham 1.
Yes. Yeah.
If you listened to me last week and the week before when I said that Fulham wouldn't beat anybody and they'd bite the full season without a win, I was wrong. But then again, I also did say that the only team I see that envision them beating was West Brom. So I still think they're gonna go get less points than Derby.
If they get less points than Derby, like I said, to be honest, like I've said it already, I don't ever want to see Derby back in this Premier League. After that, stay where you are, don't come back, or even get relegated again. We don't want to see you no more. If Fulham do the same thing, you see the Mitrovics and all them guys, they get them out of here. We don't want to see them here either. But in relation to the game, it was easy for them. You know, West Brom. This is why what was it called? They're called the English football's yo-yo club. Premier League and then Championship, Premier League, Championship, Premier League, Championship. At this point, I want you to be Championship or nowhere else. Like it's enough. And they've made some signings that are promising in terms of going forward. Dengana, Matheus Pereira made permanent. But then again, as decent as they are going forward, because they are not. I don't think that they're players or special talents to me. That's just my opinion of them. Again, at the back, they are poor, man. Like they're poor. Tell me any defender they've signed since that's been even better than Hegazi. Like that's how I look at them. I just don't see any sort of special growth in them. And they're one of those clubs that once they get Premier League survival, they would be happy finishing 15th every season. I ain't got time for clubs like that. I either try and improve, and if you try to improve and it doesn't work, I can at least forgive the fact that you tried, or just go. You know. So Fulham beating you, quite frankly, is quite embarrassing. But one of them had to beat the other one, so I'm pretty sure when they do the reverse fixture, West Brom will beat Fulham because, you know, tit for tat and all that rubbish. But yeah, good win for Fulham. They needed that. They needed it early because they didn't want to go into December with no W's. Because that's genuinely where I thought it was going as well. I thought they'll win a game at some point, but it would be like January. So at least they got a W now. So maybe they can get 2 by next weekend.
Leeds United 1, Leicester City 4.
Well, we really live in Arsenal United last, isn't it? Bloody hell.
I rate this. Okay.
Harvey Barnes got on the end of a Jamie Vardy pass and tapped it in to make it 1-0. Tielemans also made it 2-0. I think Stuart Dallas then was it a free kick or a cross? I think it was a cross, which went all the way in, all the way into the back of Kasper Schmeichel's net. Then the best goal, which was Jamie Vardy's Chenix Under with a nice dink pass to Vardy, who tapped it in, and then they got a penalty. Another once again debate. We can debate whether or not that was a penalty. Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah. And Tielemans secured a brace and made it 4-1 in the end. I mean, Leeds had all the possession. Leicester just capitalized on all their chances that they had, to be honest with you. But I think I saw it today on ESPN where Brendan Rodgers was saying, because he's British, nobody will highlight this or something like that, which just completely rubbed me the wrong way. And I just don't understand why he felt
Brendan Rodgers
necessary to say that.
Brendan. I respect Brendan for what he's done and what he's doing at Leicester, but bro, like I think you're not getting that because last season you had such a good run, and what happened at the end? People want to see you go through to the end. I mean, he's doing fantastic work at Leicester. You can see the unit they're coaching. Jamie Vardy at his age is still getting better and whatnot, but I think that one there is a sympathy. That's a cry for me. That's nobody's talking about me. You know what? You might feel aggrieved because I think there has been some incidences where English coaches or British coaches, or I think he's Northern Irish, whatever you want to call it, as United Kingdom or whatever, haven't been praised. But I don't think that's that. I think people praise Brendan Rodgers to high levels. When the Arsenal job became available, man, we're saying, how can you give it to Arteta? It has to be Brendan Rodgers. So I'm so sure he was even linked with United at a point as well. Not of recent apologies. So he's just crying, man. He's just crying wolf. You're getting your praise. You're doing what you need to do. That one day is a bit baffling if he did say that, bro. Personally.
Yeah, I agree. They flopped last season. Let's not make no mistake about it. Yeah, they may have overachieved in the beginning, but when you're in third position for that long,
got two hands on it, man.
To then finish outside, that's you choked. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, they had a lot of bad injuries, but you still, that form that they showed after lockdown, that's not good enough. So you got to take the criticism when criticism is due. Like in my opinion, like it's valid. Do you get what I'm saying? So I agree with DELUDED GOONER, man. Man is just crying. So
yeah, it's crying.
Yeah, but the result today.
Why after you won 4-1 as well at Leeds, a tough ground to play, a place where Pep Guardiola was crying and throwing in the white towel. He wanted a point. You saw the defensive changes. It's a bit baffling, and it seems that maybe comments are getting to you and something's living rent-free in your mind, Brendan, especially if you won so convincing. Like, what's all that about? That's a bit mad.
The Bielsa. I think everybody's jumping on the Bielsa bandwagon. I don't think it's a bandwagon at all. I think he's a very good coach. If Pochettino, Pep Guardiola, all these great managers are giving you praise and telling you,
like, no, everyone just says he's a good manager. He's a fantastic man. He's respected. No one says he's going to win the treble. He needs this job and that job. Everyone just rates his thing, like, because of what he does. If Brendan wants that, people are doing that. So it's like, what should be fair enough? You dispatched him, and again, you can be praised for that. But I don't think anyone's like you lot would probably lose your manager at United. No, none of you are saying Bielsa come and manage and whatnot. Like, so what's Brendan on about? Like,
yeah, to be honest, I mean, he's been getting flowers since Swansea, and that was just for style of football alone. It wasn't about doing anything special or advancing them to like maybe a European sport or something. It was about the style of football. They liked it. He went from Swansea to Liverpool. He failed to win the league there, despite at that point in one of the seasons having obviously a lead. Obviously, certain circumstances that happened. But then after that, but deep it, even after that, like you go to Leicester, you still like you say you're linked with United, you're linked with Arsenal. I mean, you are actually getting your flowers. So there's genuinely, actually, in my opinion, nothing for you to complain about. And if people criticize you, it's because of the fact that at Liverpool you were ahead in the title race and then you lost it. And last season you were 14 points clear of United, and Chelsea were just behind you, but you're clear of United. And just like Dan says here, Chelsea United were poor last year, and they tried to secure it. Look how well they started last season, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't get top 4, but you were clear. if there's any other club that did that, they'll get the same criticism. So why couldn't you?
Them sort of things there, man. Like people would have lost their job for that. Like seriously.
Exactly.
Like he wants to be a top manager, which he is, will be judged like a top manager. Then you've got to take the rough with the smooth, because I'm sure when he was linked with Arsenal in particular, I was watering down his tinker. I think he's a good manager, but I didn't want him. But everyone was saying he's the only candidate. Look what he's done, this and that. Like you want to be a top man, you got to take the rough with the smooth. He's just crying, man. He's bawling for no reason.
Agreed.
We'll move on to Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. The result, I'd say Delude has been looking forward to the most to talk about.
Let that man talk first. Let that man talk first, man. Say the best of last.
All right.
I want to hear what went wrong, man.
I'll just say one name, and I'll let you guys go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
All right, cool. Sevens, you want to go first, or should we do rock, paper, scissors? What are you saying?
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors.
Man, don't want to win. I don't want to lose.
You're first.
There we go.
Jeez.
Okay.
Go on.
All right. So that game, yeah. All right. Let me compose myself.
All them thoughts are just frying you.
Yeah. Look. The reality of the situation is we should have beaten Arsenal. Yeah. Going into that game, we're going in with momentum. We should have beaten Arsenal, but we got the tactics wrong. And I did say it before the game that one of my concerns, I was still confident that we would win, but one of my concerns is that Arsenal are compact, they're organized. That's one thing that Arteta has definitely got right at Arsenal, is he's defensively shored them up. Yes, they struggle to create chances, but they're going to be defensively quite sound. And we struggle to break teams down. It's just an issue that we have. We don't have a pattern of play. We don't create chances, and we struggle to break down those compact units. And it was easy for Arsenal. They didn't have to work for that result. We didn't do anything. And the playing out from the back, this is what whenever I hear anybody talking about Ole potentially being, the man to take us forward, or they want to back him because they love him because he scored in the Champions League final, I just say to them, look at the way we play when we're trying to play the ball out from the back. The way we play is so slow. When we're bringing the ball out from the back, it's Harry Maguire receives the ball from David De Gea inside the box. He then takes a couple touches. Then he passes it back to De Gea. Then he gets it back. Then he might pass it out to Wan-Bissaka. Then it might come back. Then in the end, De Gea hits it long because we can't play out from the back. Like, it's just a joke. We have no way of playing. The coaching is in my opinion, dire. And this is the reason, man. Arteta is a better coach than Ole. We can see that there. And that's the reason why Arsenal got the result.
I would say your greatest ever leader would disagree with you. Roy Keane, he's always talking
Forget Roy Keane. Roy Keane's just angry with life. And for whatever happened with him, between him and Fergie or whatever, but he seems bitter. He actually likes where Man United are right now. In my opinion, he prefers it because it gives him a state of authority. Because when I was there, I was the man that made Man United tick. Do you get what I'm saying? Because he just has no respect for people and he just chats rubbish. Like, this is one problem I have, and sorry for going on this rant, but this is one problem I have with pundits, is they have played the game at a high level, but when we watch them, we do not get high level insight from when they're talking, and it really gets on my nerves. And to have him on Sky Sports week in and week out is for entertainment value. For me, when I'm watching people, when I'm listening to podcasts or whatever, I'm not listening for the rants and all of that stuff. I want to hear insightful talk. I want to hear about tactical play. I want to hear about what's going on. Talk about stuff behind the scenes that we as fans don't really get to understand. You get what I'm saying? But Roy Keane just chats crap. So I got no time for him. I got no time for him whatsoever. His opinion is invalid as far as I'm concerned. But with regards to Man United, and he's another one, he don't want to ever criticize Ole. Ole should get criticized for when we do bad. If you're going to praise him for what we did against PSG, praise him for what we did against RB, you have to criticize him when we put in that type of performance against Arsenal where everybody was rubbish. It was a terrible performance. Terrible. Sorry for them.
No, that's good, bro. That's good. I like that. That's good energy. So leading on from that, leading on from that, what the one thing that Roy Keane said that kind of stuck out for me was he said that these players are going to cost Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his job. Now, the reason why I disagree with that is because the one thing that I've been constantly consistent in criticizing about Ole is his in-game management is poor. Like, it's very, very poor. Any manager worth their wealth in wherever. If you see your team has played that badly in the first half, because United were very bad in the first half. The passing was off, the lack of build-up play. There was only one time where a bit of, I won't call it brilliance, but good passing from Rashford found Greenwood on the other side, forced a save out of Leno. Bar that, there was nothing that was worth talking about from the United side, right? So instead of, at halftime looking at the problems, saying McTominay's losing the ball, Bruno's losing the ball, Pogba's losing the ball, Fred's losing the ball, why is that? Why are the midfielders not working? Why are the fullbacks not doing their job? Why is Greenwood not playing well as well? Because Greenwood struggled. I know he's young, but at the end of the day, he didn't play well either. What's going on? Okay, maybe I need to make changes. He doesn't do that. He makes changes when United go behind. He's always reactionary. He doesn't think ahead. He doesn't look and say what's going on. I've said this time and time again. United fans are always screaming, how can we start Bruno, Pogba, and Van der Beek in the same team? Yet in the last couple of games that we've won, when you started when you put those three on the pitch at the same time, adding Mata on top of that in the team, you've slapped up PSG, you've beaten Newcastle, you've beaten Leipzig. So surely with that, you can find some level of balance because your fullbacks, especially with diamond formation, those two fullbacks are not good going forward. Wan-Bissaka is not good going forward, despite a video evidence of him being a former winger. So maybe that's just like his twin brother that we've never seen again. Or the thick left back who, this is what I was getting to. This is what I was talking about the Reguilon thing. Because remember, Reguilon assisted Bell with his right foot. He cut back in and he crossed in with his right foot. And when El Nene, that video of El Nene closing down Luke Shaw in that 92nd minute when he closed him down real quick. How much time did El Nene give for Shaw to pass the ball back on his right foot? The guy was dilly-dallying over the ball. He's so one-footed. He doesn't know how to use other foot. And I'm not asking for you to be an expert. It's not easy for you to be able to use both feet. But at least,
have the confidence.
Pardon?
Have the confidence to use it, sort of thing.
Exactly. And literally 15 seconds later, after dilly-dallying off the ball, he passed it back to Lindelof, who was being closed down by someone else. So Lindelof had to get the ball off the pitch. And he's fuming because he's like, it's these small things that make it difficult for D to play. So as a manager, surely you have to look at that and you have to say, all right, I got to change this, I got to change this, I got to do this, I got to do that. But he doesn't do that. He always sits there, waits for something to happen, and then he says, okay, now I'm going to change it. That's not how football works. You know what I mean? He tries so badly to be Sir Alex Ferguson. Everything he hear is, I copy Sir Alex Ferguson's style of talking to the players before match day of who's going to be involved and who isn't. Are you Sir Alex Ferguson? Are you even his son? Are you Darren Ferguson? You're not any of them. So let's get your own styles, get your own sort of thing, and go from there. Now, the reason why we lost this game is because of him.
And you know what as well, just to add on there quickly, I was watching that and I thought after 25 minutes, you have to change it. That's what I thought personally. I thought you had to change it. It wasn't working. Arsenal was so comfortable. We weren't able to beat the press. It was embarrassing that we were literally camped in our own half. Not even because Arsenal were wave after attack. It was because we had the ball, we couldn't play out. Like there was a stat and the majority of the stat was in our penalty box area. And it wasn't even like it was loads of attacks. It was because we couldn't get out with the ball. It was embarrassing. After 25 minutes, a good coach changes it, changes the system, changes the formation, does something. Do you get what I'm saying? But
so quickly on Partey. Partey was very good in this game. As a Ghanaian, I'm gonna say it. Like, as much as I'm pissed that we lost here, as a Ghanaian guy, my uncle did the thing, innit? But it's one of them ones where we made his life very easy also because we were attempting to pass the ball into space because there was so many gaps between our midfielders that there was no chance of us doing some sort of link up play, maybe passing around them to make it a little bit more difficult for the midfielders to engage against our midfielders. Instead, players were so spread out that you had to make a longer pass. And Partey is intelligent. He's not stupid. He's a great player. He knows how to read the game. Every time a pass was coming in his direction, what did he do? Intercepted it. Boom. Attack to defense in the blink of an eye. That's what he's good at. And that's what he did. You know what I mean? So with him, we made his life difficult, but that's not taken away from what he actually did. What he actually did was he helped Arsenal control the game eventually. He helped Arsenal get good build-up. And then they complemented him very well in the sense that he closed down very quickly. It was smart from Arteta. I looked at that team and I said, I'm not sure if it was going to work just because, again, with Aubameyang so far on the left, Willian on the right, and what they were talking about, Willian saying that he feels like he's very structured and he has to wait on the right wing. Can you imagine that this is the one game that Willian wasn't so stuck out on the right wing? Sometimes he was drifting in, he'll run back out to collect the ball there. Why? Because Arteta knows, one, mark out mark out Pogba, mark out Bruno, mark out Rashford, and that's the second threat gone. Who are the two players that weren't marked out? McTominay and Fred. And DELUDED will tell you, I went on his show and I actually gave Fred a bit of praise because he was actually good in the last couple of weeks. But this is the reason why I'm so unsure about him, is because he can be good for so many weeks, but then in the next 10 weeks, he comes back to Fred. It's like going from Goku to Krillin. Like it's a banter team.
The thing is, though, Kojo, I think that's a bit unfair because everybody was poor in that game. Pogba was poor, Bruno was poor, Fred.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that
he was playing in Fred's space. So when Fred's receiving the ball, he should have options left and right. Do you get what I'm saying? He's got Scott McTominay right holding his hand. He didn't really have many options.
Bro, I'm not trying to dispute that they were all just as bad as each other. They were all poor. But my point is with him is that we, as a fan base, suddenly grow faith in these players that have decent performances or good performances here and there, and then we forget about the nonsense they've been doing. And the reason I call it nonsense is because I can't have a player that's good for 5 and then poor for 6. I need you to at least be good for 7. And if you have 1 or 2 games that are average to poor, I can forgive that because you were good in the previous games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want a good level of consistency. Scott McTominay, another one who is trying to do more than he can. Keep your game simple. But again, this is all down to the coaching side. Someone like Daniel James is a limited footballer, but what's he got? Speed, right? So in a game like last season, when we played Arsenal when it was 1-1, he enjoyed because Arsenal's fullbacks were bombing forward. So he had all the space in the world to go back and do his thing. The last time Daniel James played for this club was against Chelsea. They did low block. What the hell is a speed star who cannot dribble going to do against a low block? He can't do a damn thing. And this is why I wanted us to play the more creative players straight away from the jump, because you knew Arsenal were going to be structured. Arteta has changed that style, made them solid defensively, and you know when he's got that solid defensive base, eventually he'll add a more bit of creativity into it, and then they'll build something. That's why I respect him a lot more than our coach, because our coach, there's no plan behind it. It's just I hate saying it's vibes, but really and truly it's vibes right now, and it's Norwegian vibes, and I'm not sure they got good vibes in Norway. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them ones where I'm just like, at this point, I don't like saying managers in or out, but bro, it is time to go. Pack your bags. Like DELUDED said, he was talking about Brexit, bro. I'm talking about full Nigel Farage. Get out even out of the country, go back to Norway. Them kind of things there. I don't want to see you here no more. Like, it's just no. I've said it. You're doing this. I've said it. It's live on YouTube. I've already said it. but honestly, no. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. So it's time for him to cut. And it's been time for him to cut since we held 6 against Tottenham. So for me personally, time's up. It's time to go.
DELUDED, they were saying that it was a game that United should have won. But were you ever worried about Manchester United?
Pre-game. I can't lie. When I saw 3 at the back, I was a lot more confident because in my preview, I said, listen, Old Trafford is a big pitch. You know, we can't defend in a 4-2 tough. So let's just get men behind the ball, frustrate them. The only thing I was really concerned about away from their individual qualities, when I think of United, I know Martial can't play for obvious reasons, but it's that counter attack. It's that Greenwood, it's that Rashford. I was paranoid of their left or right because I could see Bellerin, and pre-game I thought Mustafi would play. That's not a good combination. That half space concerns me. That being said, when the game was kicked off, I was a lot more confident. I saw what I didn't see against Liverpool and City in the sense of we weren't cutting them open and putting them under pressure, but it weren't a thing where we were just thinking about the defensive. We tried to have something about us. Like, I'm always on to Bellerin. I saw him flying forward. Tierney, for me, had a very good game. We won our individual battles. Partey and El Nene complemented each other well. So I think we did everything we needed to do. Obviously, we got a bit of fortune with Pogba being an idiot and giving the penalty away. We did, hit the crossbar. There was where Lindelof done well, where it looks like Lacazette missed a weldy and things like that. Saka over the bar, these half chances. So we do need to be a bit more clinical. We're nowhere near levels in terms of scoring goals. We are underperforming without a doubt in an attacking sense. But I think we won the game management. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with all due respect, against him and his men, we're gonna have a bit more about us than if we're playing Liverpool and City because of the golfing class. I think as an outsider looking in, I think Kojo's been a bit harsh on Fred. I think everyone was poor, but I feel Fred was kind of left to die out there, really and truly, because it looked bait what you lot was trying to do. We knew you lot can play out from the back, so it weren't a thing where we're gonna be onto you as soon as you get the keeper, get it from the keeper. We let their centre halves have it. It seemed like the centre halves, Lindelof and Maguire split. Fred went into the space, and then we were happy with Fred and McTominay to have the ball, because with all due respect to them, if it goes to them two or the back line, I know Maguire can play a pass from time to time, but if it falls to them, man, and Wan-Bissaka, they're not the dangerous men. Then you could see, I think Bruno Fernandes was anonymous, but you could see him frustrated, hovering about. I love to see Bruno Fernandes getting it off the centre half, because I know he's got a pass in him, but you're not in the area he can hurt me. Pogba the same. And with that, it allows us to get a bit more higher up the field. So I think we won the tactical battle, and I share what both the lads said. In 20 minutes in, you could see the thing. I feel second half, first 10, there was a bit of a reaction from United. Personally, I feel Greenwood was alright, I feel Greenwood was the one player, he was good with his back to goal, receiving it, turning. He was being a bit of a nuisance, and there was a good incident. And I think Gabriel was lucky. He earned a good free kick off Gabriel near the edge of our area. I think other than that, Rashford was too busy on the floor. Bruno didn't fancy. I feel the players have to take a lot of responsibility, because they were a bit complacent, dare I say, arrogant, because of the form they're going in, and they were lackluster. Like, one thing I get annoyed about Arsenal on a regular basis, when we lose or play teams, we're playing teams that we've had one extra day's preparation. We look sharper than United, and obviously they played on the Wednesday, we played on the Thursday. These games come to them sort of fine margins, and tactics go out the window. So I think United players are getting away with a lot, because I feel none of them really wanted it. But it comes down to Oli, the way he set up. I don't know how United fans were looking at it, but I felt, you did a little diamond in the game before. It kind of worked, fair play. But it just came down to seeing what's happening and reacting. And that seems to be a theme of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's very reactive. From an Arsenal perspective, I'm not going to go as far as to say Arteta's learned the problems he's had. But the main thing for me is while we weren't expansive and doing this Barcelona thing, we kind of recognize that it's all fun and games being defending and looking at the threat that they hold, but we have to have something about us going forward. And I would say of recent years, it's probably the easiest game I've seen us play against Man United. Like, the banter's fine in the games, but when you look beyond that, I have sympathy for the United fans, the players weren't at it. And you're looking at the manager. Again, I'm not one of these guys that the manager has to jump up and down and start screaming, but he's just looking awkward. He's looking like a nervous fan, and them energies there, it transpires to the players. And you never got the vibe. Both teams, to a degree, looked like they were calm with a draw at points, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, Oli, you never got the vibe he was going to take the handbrake off. It's like even Matic for Fred. I didn't think Fred deserved to be sub. Fair enough, he's on the yellow. Fred's strengths aren't really cutting teams open. If you're chasing the game, it is what it is. But looking at it, if you're looking at Arsenal and we're good defensively, we're probably going to be happy with this 1-0 victory. We're not going to try and get a second. We are going to sit. Why are you taking off Fred and bringing on Matic? It's not going to help. You've got McTominay ready to kind of mop that up. As I said, we're kind of just going to drop naturally further and forward. So it highlighted Oli that Oli's he's just not cut out for this thing, really and truly. And, I love him at United because it obviously benefits me. I don't like a man to be doing poor, but I don't get the vibe that these players truly believe in him. They might ride for him and that, but I could see that these players, they were baffled. Like, some man needed their hands held. Like, there's like Greenwood. I felt sorry for Greenwood because I see it with Saka. Greenwood looks clueless because, more experienced players in and around him, they don't look like they know what's going on. So how's this young man going to happen? And like I said, I think man are harsh on Greenwood. I think Greenwood was kind of calm. He didn't set the world alight, but he looked like a threat. I just feel it all comes down to Ollie, man. That game there came down to Ollie. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm doing my team a discredit because Ollie's irrelevance to us, but it came down to Ollie. You never got when I think of United, you think of counter-attack, you think of fast play. The thing about Old Trafford, I thought, you know what, it's a big pitch. We know this. We can't really do this compacting against them. But they were letting us do it. It's like the players weren't street smart enough, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's definitely not street smart enough. And United are always going to fall for this. Yeah, it looks good if they when they've won, because Ole's got some positive results in big games, but he just shows he's not the man. He's just not the man for it. He shows, I don't want to say inexperienced, because he's got more experience than Arteta. Like, we keep throwing him in there with him. He's been a manager for almost 10 plus years now. So the only thing I learned from that game from United is that the players need to fix up. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the guy that needs to be moved on. And I don't know if it's bringing in Poch. I don't know if it's trying unknown. I don't know if it's a Michael Carrick thing with these new age managers. But one thing's for certain, I don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing anything at this club, really. And I'll live to be proven wrong, but long may Ollie's reign continue at United, man. It's fantastic that we.
God forbid, bro. God forbid.
Sorry, can I know KO, you might want to throw your 2 pence in as well in a second, but just to go on what you were saying, Deluded Gooner, regarding the players need to take the stick. Like, I don't want to give the players a free ride. At the end of the day, the players are the ones on the pitch. They have to perform, and they have to look at themselves and say they didn't perform. Do you get what I'm saying? But you made a great point there when you said man are looking around and they're baffled. And this is when I watched the game, like from a tactical perspective, and I'm trying to put myself on the pitch there. I'm thinking to myself, we're meant to be playing this diamond, and you've got Scott McTominay coming close to Fred. That's not playing the diamond. You've got Bruno Fernandes, as you said as well, coming towards the centre back, picking the ball up. That's not the diamond. It just all seemed really disjointed. And then when you're also trying to play out from the back, I'm not even going to get onto Maguire and Lindelof and them man there, because when you're looking ahead, the only way that you can play out the back, you need movement, and then you need space, and you need players to pass to. And
on the show.
And what we're getting though is every man are picked off, and because it's not being coached, players don't actually know, all right, I need to make this run, I need to create this space for my man to bend in over there, to get what I'm saying. And I think it's hard for players in that system where it's clear that it's not working. That's when you need your manager to say, okay, this ain't working, I need to change it. And that's why you saw us have a spike in the second half, in that early part, because it was something, one, that we're more used to. So the players knew exactly what to do in that system. And then what happened? Arsenal just got used to it. Arsenal figured it out and was like, okay, we can adjust now. The players ain't going to be, and that's all it was. It was, for me, yes, the players need to look at themselves, but I'm looking at that saying to myself, the players were lost out there. They needed a manager to guide them in terms of where to be, because they obviously didn't know what they were doing. That's what I think anyway.
No, that's 100% facts. And that's why I said, because I don't like to excuse players of anything, but that's why I said, and I agree, it's Ollie, because like you said, game management not there. It's just, for me, it's just the word reactive. It's a bit like Emery. That was my pet peeve. It's like, you can't, obviously as a footballer, as a manager, you need to react. Everyone can have a plan. What happens in the game is a different thing. But everything was reactive. Nothing was proactive. When I used, of previous years, like even Emirates, where you lot used to smack us up for all the banter and golfing talent, you lot were on it from the first minute. There was, everyone's been preparing all week for this. Nobody wants to mess up. You didn't get that there. You really didn't get that. And it comes down to Ollie, like Ollie's tactics, Ollie's man management. I'm sure they like him. He's a nice guy and things, but until that man leaves, United are not going to get back to the days you lot are accustomed to. And like you said, when everybody's baffled and you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's not giving vibes to you that you're doing a good job or a bad job. It's never going to be good. And I think that was the one thing, especially with your midfielders. It didn't look like you was told, this is what you need to do, that's what you need to do. It looked like a diamond, then it's going into like a 4-2-2 and all these things. And then it's just playground football. Man are just doing what they're used to and accustomed to. And obviously when you've got Pogba and Bruno, them man are natural players that come onto the ball. So yeah, man, Ollie messed it up, really. That's the one major key point, is Ollie effed up for you, man. Simple as.
I have to agree, man.
Let's get it back on to Arsenal, though, who did play. They came up with a plan. They played a particular system, and it worked. It got the 1-0 victory that I think we desperately needed, to be honest with you.
Real party and El Nene, man. Seriously.
just talk about Mikel Arteta though. Is obviously he won the FA Cup last season, but he did finish. Yeah, I think it was 9th he finished last season. But once again, I don't think that was particularly his problem.
8 or something.
Not his problem particularly. This season's kind of been a rocky start. This is 4 wins, 3 defeats. You were saying, yes, we're solid defensively, but attackingly, we kind of lack ideas. What's your take on Arteta? And can you see that he has a plan, and is it going to bear fruit in the future?
I think what I like about Arteta is I wanted to see what he's showing. Firstly, he's showing me what I didn't see with Emery in it. I like to have a manager, whether I agree with you or not, you've got conviction in your ideas. I know what you're about. Arteta, whether I've agreed or not, I said, why is he doing that with Willian? Why is he doing this? He's had ideas. I like Arteta because there's the principles. We looked a bit more better attackingly last season, especially when we did these 18-19 moves. So I don't know what's happening there. But as much as I like him and like what he's introduced, the man management, he's finding roles for people like El Nene. Mustafi still needs to go. But when called upon, he did an okay job. That's what I wanted to see. Couple players that I don't want to see, you're playing all right. But the major issue is the attacking sense. And I think it's a point when I get it. He doesn't trust us defensively. That's why he's on the 3 at the back. He don't trust these men in the 4. He don't trust our midfield. I get it. I would feel the same. And I understand why you have that handbrake. But to a degree, it's getting past that point where you need to kind of remove that. You kind of need to find the balance of being good defensively and kind of allowing us to be naive, like that typical Arsenal where we were good technically, but once you get the ball off the striker, you ping it 2 passes, you've scored. I'm not saying to do that, but we need to find that freedom. I think with time, with Partey coming in now, I think he might get that. But when I look at the 3 at the back, I actually feel in hindsight, Willian's a defensive signing, because I felt when Willian's come in, he's going to be a depth sort of man. His numbers aren't crazy, but our wide options with a couple of players breaking through are better. But he just screams defensive. And in a game like United, it's all right. Bellerin's a bit booky defensively. We've got 3 at the back. We've got Partey. Williams on the right. He was as wide as I've ever seen him, but he was tracking back quite a lot. But I'd say my problems are with the offensive, and I feel our lack of attacking intent is more with the manager than the players, where defensively, I thought it was more the players than the manager, because I could see what he wanted to do defensively, how he wanted to improve, how he actually wanted to defend from the strikers, sort of thing. And then I think it was a thing of you bring in a Gabriel. Obviously, midfield is a big part of defending. You bring in a Partey, I can see what you're on. While we need a creative man or a creative number 8 or a traditional 10 or whatever you want to call it, we need that, and that will help him. I don't think it's a case of you stick my man in there and it's immediately going to be wavy. You're going to see attack, because similar to what you lot are saying about United, man are not making specific runs consistently that they can exploit for themselves or their teammates can exploit. So I think Arteta needs to do that. And if we looked at Arsenal, what job is harder? You've done the harder job of improving a couple players defensively that are not at it. You look at our attackers, whatever you say about them, there's enough to cause some sort of problems. So I can't understand it now. The players have to take responsibility. Aubameyang's lack of goals this season is down to him. But also, we know we're not, the wing thing is one thing, but we're not feeding him. We're not creating him. We're not playing to his strengths. Pepe is poor because Pepe is poor, but we don't play to his strengths. Lacazette poor, but we don't play to their strengths. So it's like, it's a bit mad. So it's like, until he removes this handbrake, until I start seeing patterns of play, I'm kind of onto him. And I don't know. It's not that we can't do it, because we see these 17, 18 pass moves, bro. We see like in the second half against Sheffield United, suddenly man can play 1 or 2 touch passes. So I don't know what it is, but I'm more with Arteta in the attacking thing, man. And he said the attacking intent needs to be better, but I just feel he needs to remove that sort of mental handbrake. And that's only going to come when these men look more convincing. So that's what I feel about Arteta and that, my guy.
Fair enough. I was going to end it there, but I will leave you two to address the comment that says you guys are both clueless and Ole is the best manager despite winning nothing since Fergie.
Yeah, so. This is just look, we gotta put this Ole thing to one side, man. Like, in terms of, yeah, we know he's a club legend and everything, but look, we just have to watch the way that we play. And that was his 100th game in charge. Yes, we've got rid of some of the deadwood. He's done great at, potentially, steadying the ship after Jose, because Jose left us in a bad position. But come on, we still don't have a pattern of play. Like, are Man United now a counter-attacking team? Is that what we are now? Like, I hear a couple men say, and it's facts. Because Ole is loved, we are reducing our standards. I'm not reducing my standards. I'm not clueless. I can tell you that now. I know football and I know Man United. And when we're playing teams, it doesn't matter. This is what I said against Newcastle, and I think I said it to you, Kojo. Against Newcastle, we won 4-1, but that wasn't a 4-1 game. It was 1-1. We struggled to break them down, and the goal that we got to go 2-1 was a counter-attack. Then they start to leave gaps. And DELUDED GOONER even said it when he was talking about Arsenal and saying about counter-attacks and everything. Arsenal was never going to allow us to have counter-attacks because of the way that they play, yeah? And whenever we struggled last season against teams was when they came compact, when they were defensively like sound. We can't break those teams down. When there's space in behind, that's when and for me personally, that's not a way of coaching. If you've only got one style of play, you know, in 100 games, that's all you can do is one style of play, which is counter-attacking. And we're Manchester United. You can't break down Crystal Palace. You can't break down Brighton. Yeah, we beat Brighton 3-2, but we should have lost that game 5-2 and all their madness there. It goes back to last season. We went on a great run, but even in them games that we win, when you watch it and you analyze it, we've got one style of play. For me, my manager needs to be better than that. Yes, we can win in Europe because them teams are going to come at us. PSG ain't going to be compact and all them thing there. Do you get what I'm saying? So, nah, Ollie's not the man, unfortunately. I love him. I respect what he did for us. But going forward, he's just not the man. He's not the guy to do the job. He's not going to get us to where Liverpool are. And that's where we need to get to. If this guy here that left the comment can really, with his chest, say that he believes that Ollie's going to get us to where Liverpool are, I don't believe you, my guy. I don't believe you.
At this point, the only person that's going to get us to where Liverpool are is Jesus Christ. That's the only person that can do it at this point. Yeah. Listen, I don't care about no rebuild. I don't care who's come or gone and all that kind of crap. Yeah.
Firm it in his hand, bro.
Firm it. Yeah.
You looking down and literally getting the scriptures and that.
Bro, you know, this whole thing, this is why all these things fans and these stupid Twitter verified channels can go and show pictures of where is it? Saz Ferguson versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first 100. He's got more wins.
All them context statistics that don't factor in the game by game. Arteta's got it against Emre, and to a degree, I guess they're starting for Arteta to face up to. But we all know stats can be manipulated. If you look at them games and the times, we can see the context. It's mad. And this is what I hate about football fans. It's an agenda thing. Like there's some man that are probably just backing Ole purely for the sake of backing it. And if Ole was to turn it around, like I'm sure you two, you know, you'd back him because he's showing what you need. But there's some man that wouldn't back him. That's a problem with football, bro. It's just bare man make beds and just lie in it rather than just being objective, seeing things for what they are and
be balanced. Being wrong. Balanced, man. Be balanced.
That's the right word, balance, literally.
Yeah. If anybody checks me out, they'll know. Like when we're winning against RB, one of my main taglines is when you do well, I'll praise you. But then if you do badly, I'll criticize you. You can't do well against RB and then it's a tactical masterclass and then you get buoyed off the pitch against Arsenal and it's the player's fault. No, I'm not buying that. No way.
Exactly. Keep consistent. So we keep consistent over here. So this is how it's gonna be in it. I don't care about him selling this guy, that guy, and that guy. I want results on the pitch. Yeah. His first season, he had a chance to get top 4. What happened? He lost to Cardiff at home. Relegated Cardiff, his former club, and lost to Huddersfield. Yeah. Last season, Leicester should have claimed top 4 a long time ago. It's because of them. Obviously, we got our results, but they bottled it more than anything. That's why we finished top 4. Yeah. Also, we got to 3 semi-finals. What happened? Exactly. And this season, have you won a game at home? Okay. All right. So, congratulations on the rebuild, sir. I hope it goes well for you. Me right now, I'm gonna go and get my plate of jollof rice and enjoy my life. If you think he's doing a great job of rebuilding, all that, and yeah, have a good day, man.
I think we should wrap it up there. Semps, where can they find you?
On Twitter at LSemps, also on Twitter, Instagram, at Views TV Official, also on YouTube, Views TV Official. Bless.
DELUDED GOONER, where can they find you, sir?
From Twitter to YouTube, well, all social media handles, the Twitters, the Instagrams and whatnot, it's right there in front of them. And YouTube, just DELUDED GOONER, you can have a whiz through that. That's it, really. Love, man.
Coach, where can they find us?
They can find us on. I was cool earlier. I'm getting mad again. I can't even say it. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, 3inMidfield. You can find us right here on YouTube at 3inMidfield Podcast, and of course on Twitter at 3inMidfield. And I'm going to plug these guys a lot more because the Ludus are too humble with it. The Ludus channel is wavy, on YouTube. Check that. No, every time I gas this guy, I'm like, I ain't trying to hear lie. Listen, go subscribe to this guy's channel. It's wavy. Great sense in football. Not only Arsenal, he talks about youth players that the ones that we watched now. Like he's been shouting them out from day. So watch that things as well. Go back and see the archives, bro. Man's been here about here. And Semper as well, Views TV official, because man said, El Simpson left it there. No. Views TV official. Go check that out on the YouTube. Go check that out on the Twitter as well. My guy's doing wonderful things. So yeah. And one more time, Ollie out.
Appreciate it, my G. Appreciate it, man.
This has been another episode of the 3inMidfield Podcast. Good night.
Peace.